Hi, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. And we're on our Star Wars series. Today is Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Daegum Clones.
Attack of the Clones.
That's right.
Watch out for the pants. So, same little disclaimer as last time. We talked about everything in the Star Wars universe that we know, even if it's wrong. So spoilers all over the place. Some spoilers are wrong. They're just red herrings that we throw out there. Today, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, released in 2002. So the first episode, Phantom Menace, we were in the Clinton era still. And this one, we're in W territory.
Whoa.
Yeah, just to get a little bit of context of time frames that we're looking at here. I think last episode when we did the synopsis round robin, that worked really well. We successfully recapped episode 1. So I think that's a good place to start.
I would like to start with something different from what you just said.
Yes, please go ahead.
I would like to start with the confession. Let me read my notes because I had to write a note about it. So when I listened to our first pod program episode,
Yes.
Michelle had mentioned something about Lord of the Rings, and for some reason my listening skills were not very skillful at that moment because I thought she was talking about Labyrinth. And you could hear me say, like, very subtly in the background, this really out of place that really didn't fit anyway. But I went, let's dance. And re-listening to it, it was just kind of it didn't work.
Well, what's funny is I've listened to that episode and I was like, why is he saying that? I mean, but it's not completely out of the ordinary just to drop in some random things like that. So it worked for me.
So it was when we were talking about the Goblin King.
Oh my
I
God!
thought you were talking about David Bowie.
So actually, it does fit because we were saying that the largest member of the group is the king. And he is much bigger than the other goblins. David Bowie is. So
Yeah, and he doesn't fit in with them at all.
Yep.
yeah, is he like a different species?
That was awesome. Okay, so it actually worked really well. Good job.
Thank you. Anyhow, on to our synopsis.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's right. So, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clone, starts out with thousands of systems that were in the Republic have left. They say, we're not part of the Republic anymore. We're going to follow Count Dooku and his separatist movement. And the Senate and the Jedi, the Jedi are supposed to like keep order in the galaxy, but they're having trouble keeping up because there's so many people leaving the Republic. So the Senate is going to vote to make a big army to help the Jedi.
That's not what's really happening.
Senator Amidala flies into Coruscant because
in her jellyfish. Her jellyfish spaceship.
Her shiny ship. And so that she can vote whether or not to make this army. She lands there, and there's an assassination attempt. Somebody tries to blow up her ship. Luckily, for her, she was in a secret ship, and so she didn't get blown up. And then...
You write all these details, like... Did you really remember that?
And then...
Well, I'm not reading anything.
Oh, okay.
You can see what I'm seeing.
Okay. You go, Alex.
And then Jedi intercourse.
No way.
Like they just blow up the ship, and the Jedi are like, "Ooh, that gets me horny."
Remember when they were riding on their little horsey thingies? and they fell off, and everybody had a good time.
That's right.
That was a dumb scene.
It was. I don't know why those things are so bulbous.
Okay, hold on. Is that the next thing?
No, it's
Oh,
not
because I'm
at
very
all.
confused.
No.
Because, like, okay, and then she gets tired and takes a nap, and then someone makes an attempt on her life, and they do the whole like Dune enter the room with weird robot things.
Mm-hmm.
And the assassin they chase around, and this is where Obi-Wan has all the one-liners.
Amidala. They're chasing the assassin.
Alex, do you have anything to contribute to the actual summary of the plot? You're wiggling your eyebrows a lot, but
I know. I forgot to rewatch it, which I was going to do, but because it's been a while for me.
And unfortunately, Weird Al never wrote a song about this film.
I know.
It's not like a little musical cheat sheet in your head.
Was this the one where
we have captions on in our meeting, by the way, and when I said cheat sheet, it said chi-chi, so it says you have a little musical chi-chi in your head.
It's a musical chi-chi. Where were we?
So they kill. Okay, so
they killed Amidala.
No,
they tried to. I mean,
yes, someone tried to kill her, and it was a changeling, and they did a lot of space flying around in the city, which kind of looks like Blade Runner in a way when they're flying around at night. And then they killed her, and she was a changeling, or they were a changeling. That's all that I know about. Oh, and then this is the best part. They go to the sand igloo.
So, in tracking down the assassin, they find two things. One, Palpatine wants to move Amidala to a safe location, being guarded by Anakin, and also in tracking down the dart that killed the assassin, the dart that was shot by, we find out, Jango Fett. Obi-Wan tracks down the clue of the dart to Camino, where the cloners are.
Oh, yeah, that place that's like out in the ocean-y area.
Yeah,
or
it's like
planet.
Yeah, seems to be like an ocean planet.
Ocean planet. Oh, and they that's where they have those really tall, skinny, like, I'm 5 years old. This is what aliens look like. I'm designing aliens.
The long neck, little head.
Yeah. It's just like, okay. Like, I think the same person was like, they were like, hey, you designed that funny looking jellyfish ship. Why don't you design the alien? And they're like, okay. And they designed the alien. It's the same person.
They don't fit in with what Star Wars aliens look like.
I know.
There's a rule, but there's kind of a rule, isn't there?
Yeah.
Need to be kind of puppety.
Yeah.
And more hair.
So yeah, they walk around with Obi-Wan, and he sees all these clones. Well, yeah. But here's the thing. Those are the clones, but when I think of this movie, I always think the clones are those robots that they fight at the end that look like rabbits.
You're thinking of the droids.
Yeah, like I think for a long time I thought those were the clones, but that's not what a clone is.
Yeah, the droids are like, hey you.
Yeah, they look like pink bunny rabbits.
I would like to contribute a side note, which is mostly what I have.
Yes.
You know Django Reinhardt?
Yep.
Who played Boba's dad? Mm-hmm. He also plays Boba on Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm. I had read
Very
that.
actor.
Yep, I had read that too.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, have you noticed people about the Mandalorian? By the way, they've been talking illy toward the figure of Boba Fett.
No.
Oh, they've been saying he's too fat and whatnot, and I have issue with that. Here are my issues. This is my hot take.
New segment.
So,
and Alex's
you're meaning,
hot takes.
So for number one, I'm holding up one finger. Mandalorian takes place way after we first see Boba Fett. I mean, we first saw him theatrically. I mean, Boba Fett is way older in the later, like 4 through 9. He's way older.
Yeah, for sure.
So by the time Mandalorian happens, he would be like in his 50s or 60s, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's older than Luke Skywalker, and we see how old Luke is by the time they get to.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not a young man anymore. So A, B, we fully accepted that a little goblin hobbit that is Yoda could jump around, do backflips while he's faking cane walking, but we can't accept that Boba Fett gained a little bit of weight in his 60s.
Sure. Yeah.
That's very unfair treatment of that feller.
Mm-hmm.
That dude's allowed to have a ding dong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I saw Alex's eyebrows, and I thought the same thing. I was like, "Why is he talking about his wiener? Like, why are we going into wiener territory?" It's like, "Oh, you mean ding dong as in the food?"
I think I should rephrase that one.
Let's just define what a ding dong is.
I think it's I was going to go down the path of why do people call them ding dongs? Because they're not really shaped like ding dongs. They're shaped like Twinkies. If they're shaped like any Hostess product.
Why is it called a ding dong?
Why is it called a ding dong?
What's weird is we had a ding dong last night. Jay and I, we got to. We had this restaurant makes their own ding dongs, and we had one, and it was good.
Yep.
Anyway, I digress. Okay, where were we? Okay, so the clones, and they're like, OMG, they're building an army. But then Amidala, ding dong, and Anakin,
Amalama ding dong.
And Anakin go to the Sandigloo planet and find out that his mom has been taken, and his mom's husband is a little bit too tired to go look for her anymore.
They went to Naboo, and Anakin is like, I keep thinking about my mom. I need to go to Sandigloo.
Mm-hmm.
So they go there.
I need to go to San Diego.
And then he gets all mad, and he's like, fine, if you're going to sit around and be a little bit too tired to go look for my mom, I'll go look for her. And he finds them with the Sand People, which, by the way, when you first watch Star Wars, they're like the scariest thing in the movie. Like when you first watch A New Hope for the first, like if you've never seen Star Wars, to me it's the scariest thing you encounter.
The Sand People?
Yeah, they're so scary.
Yeah. This was the first act of blatant going against the grain that Anakin did, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
He goes and kills all the Sand People, even the little baby Sand People. I think that's funny.
The baby Sand People.
And then what happens, Jay?
Let's see.
They vote for it.
Okay, so no. Oh, by the way, speaking of votes, I also have a confession from past episode. I said something wrong. Jar Jar. I said that Jar Jar Binks in this movie says that Palpatine should be Supreme Chancellor. That's not true. He was already Supreme Chancellor by this point. Jar Jar said that he should have emergency powers to deal with the situation. Anyway.
I didn't want to embarrass you at the time.
Okay, so whenever Obi-Wan is at talking with the cloners on Kamino, he finds Jango Fett and Boba Fett. Boba Fett! By the way, I think they missed an opportunity there that Jango Fett could have called Boba, his son, Bobby.
Boba Fett?
I think it would have been really charming if the whole time he was just like, dang it, Bobby.
Baba.
But yeah, he's tracking down Jango Fett, and they both leave Kamino. Obi-Wan follows Jango in their spaceships and tracks him to Geonosis, the planet Geonosis. And he gets captured by Obi-Wan gets captured by Count Dooku there.
I hate that name.
You hate the name Count Dooku?
I just don't think you can say it with a straight face.
Cool.
Dookie. Who was also in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Lots crossover there.
I think Christopher Lee was a great choice for Count Dooku.
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Kringle.
Marty, you gotta learn the dark side of the Force.
That was terrible, by the way.
Was that another awesome impression?
That was a very good impression.
Oh my god, that's so bad.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Marty, I can feel your anger.
You're just saying it like you're just sitting up when you say it. That doesn't change. You just sat up a little higher in your chair and then said it exactly like you sound.
Impersonation 101. All about posture.
So Obi-Wan is in trouble. He sends a message out. So Anakin and Amidala, Padme, they're like, we're going to Geonosis to help Obi-Wan. So they go there. So everybody's there on Geonosis having a party.
Is that the planet that has the gladiator scene?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. So Padme and Anakin, they also get captured, and everybody gets thrown into the gladiator arena.
And then they just make up a bunch of silly monsters to put in there.
It's also where Spock was reborn.
Hold on. I do want to... let's go back to our notes, because I want to know about this one. At 4134, you'd think they would have invented a way for him not to have to awkwardly crawl over the wing of his flying car. Perhaps some steps.
Yeah. Yeah, if you watch right there at the movie, it's very awkward.
Hang on, I want to pull it up real quick. I want to see what's going on.
I would just climb over my own vehicle. That's normal.
Oh, why can't we add some of those sounds in as we're talking about it? It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, when we played again, I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking how cool it would be to have the sound in there.
See, he's like getting out of his thing. He's like, oh man, hope I don't slip.
Yeah, wasn't it kind of rainy? Or was it not?
Yeah, it's totally rainy.
But we got to talk about the gladiator scene. It's also filled with some great one-liners from everyone.
Yeah, C-3PO has like 40 one-liners in a row. So yeah, Samuel L. Jackson and the rest of the Jedi show up to help out.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of droids are there.
Okay, that scene's kind of terrible, but the note about this scene, I think this scene is the worst scene in the entire movie. The part where Anakin and Queen Amidala roll on the hill.
Oh my god.
Let's play the music from that scene.
Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about the music they play while they're rolling down the hill.
Oh, that's way before that.
Oh, okay. Well, we missed it then.
That's way back on Naboo.
It's like some Little House on the Prairie shit right here.
So they're rolling down the hill. It's like ding 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 ding.
I imagine they did some better takes, and they're just like, this just is. It's not embarrassing enough. that was the Boba Sea animals, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. Yeah, all the monsters are just like for somebody's first attempt at making something in the computer program.
So yeah, they're in the gladiator arena. It looks bad for our protagonist, and then Samuel L. Jackson and the Jedi show up, and it looks good for them. And then a whole bunch of droids shows up, and it looks bad. But then Yoda and a whole bunch of clones show up, and it looks good. And Dooku tries to run away, and Anakin and Obi-Wan chase him down.
You know, Samuel L. doesn't get to curse in this movie.
It is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even when his arm is cut off. Wait, no, that was next movie.
But I guess it's kind of right because Jedis aren't supposed to like use anger. He would have made a very powerful Sith.
But he never got that chance.
So yeah, Anakin and Obi-Wan fail in their fight against Dooku, and then
Yoda came. Oh yeah, Yoda came in, and he was like, I don't need this cane, and he started doing backflips. Mm-hmm. And little slices.
Yeah. So like little did we know he was like parkour champion 1999.
But God forbid Boba be fat.
That's right.
In later years.
yeah, Dooku ultimately does escape still.
And then in the opening scenes of the next one, that it gets settled real quick.
Yeah, so basically in this one, at this point, Dooku goes and meets with Palpatine, and then kind of the last couple scenes that we see are like Palpatine and his group. They're looking over their new clone army that they're so proud about. Mm-hmm. And we also see Mr. Anakin and Padme, and they're so in love.
They're so in love.
Mm-hmm.
They could just roll down little grassy hills all day.
And they get married at the end. That's the end. That's the closing scene.
They get married.
I had a comment I wanted to say. This is from my secret notes. You know how at the beginning of every Star Wars movie, there's a long time ago. They say a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Mm-hmm. Well, I could be wrong on this, but since it's in a galaxy far, far away that has no relation to Earth whatsoever in whatever timeline we're in, who really gives a crap that it was a long time ago? It could have been 10 minutes ago or it could have been 10,000 years ago. Either way, it's the same to us.
That's true.
So you're saying it would have had the same impact if like one of them was like in a galaxy far away yesterday.
Yeah. Like, who cares? Like, they're just in that point on their timeline, independent of us, either way we look at it.
Right.
It could have been 10 million years ago. It could have been 10 minutes ago. And it doesn't change the story for me unless we knew more of their story to begin with.
Man, I do want to know more of their story. I have a whole list of things. Okay, so like last episode I said, I want to know about ancient Jedi shit. Like, how did it all start? How did they figure out how to wield the Force? Either Sith first and then Jedi or vice versa. I also want to know Leia and Han Solo being parents to Ben Solo while Luke's training him and how it all goes sideways. I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
Which Mandalorian might have set up?
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to see what happens to Rey after the end of all these movies. Like, I want to see like how things go for her because, you know, once you're a Jedi, shit doesn't go for you really well. It's not like it's like, and then she lived in the sand igloo and it was over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They could definitely do a 10 through 12.
Oh, yeah. And also at the end of episode 9, something unresolved is that Finn, he's just like, I'm starting to feel the Force.
That's right.
And they don't really go anywhere with it.
That's right.
Mm.
He's
Yeah.
He's Force sensitive. He just never knew it. I wouldn't mind seeing some young Yoda, not to be confused with Grogu baby Yoda, but actual Yoda, like kind of his early days. I think my number one is actually Palpatine learning the Force from Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Oh, and him killing.
Oh yeah, he talks about that.
That's the thing I want to see the most. How did Palpatine learn it? Well, how did he become so daggum strong with the Force? All that stuff.
Oh, I know the movie. I remember now. You made me think of it because I said, so out of all the Jedi, the most powerful in the series as we know it currently in the history has been Darth Vader. Like that's he had the most stuff in his blood. He was the most powerful. So I want to see from him crawling around out of the volcano shit with no leg meat to when we first see him in A New Hope, like how he went from no legs. Well, I mean, we see that he's at the end of that movie. We see like they're making leg meat for him and all that, but like his physical or his mental state. From that point to where we see him in The New Hope, where he's just like hardened and like he's like wielding the Force like crazy. Like I want to see that development.
I would like to see more Han Solo. The clumsiest part of that movie, which I guess we could talk about when we get to that movie, but was him knowing Chewbacca's language.
I think so. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that one.
We'll talk about it later.
I think this kind of speaks a lot to Attack of the Clones, though, that we're like, can we please talk about the other movies?
I know it's so that movie is pretty darn forgettable. I will say.
That brings up another point. Now that they're owned by Disney and Disney does whatever the heck they want, should they redo the prequels?
Yes.
Oh, I would love that. And I think there's enough material that I think part of the problem with the prequel trilogy is that there's actually too much plot for 3 movies, and they should do more like a Mandalorian sort of thing and have a couple seasons to
explain that one.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be real long. I think The Mandalorian was perfect, like 2 seasons.
I mean, I've seen those first 3 movies several times, not as many as I've seen the original 3. And I'm just now, because I knew we were doing a podcast about it, I'm just now understanding all the political bullshit that went behind it. So if you're just watching it and like laughing about how terrible the art is or the monsters or the one-liners or whatever, you're not paying attention to all the political shit that actually is super important to understand how it all plays out in the whole series. So I do think they could do a better job of that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying it would have been better as a show, more like a show?
That's what Jay thinks. I think they could do it in a movie. They could just be better about it and not spend so much time like, we're in a field and we're rolling around and there's these stupid animals. It could be like understanding the political structure and what Palpatine is doing.
Mm-hmm.
What, would it be the same actors? Because they ain't getting any younger.
I actually wouldn't mind the same actors. I just would like a better director.
Yeah.
Bring back Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of times, both with Jake Lloyd and Hayden Christensen, where he would like say a line. I'm just picturing George Lucas like 30 times in a row, cut. Anakin needs more emotion. And the actor's like, I don't know what you mean. More emotion. And they just eventually just like say the line louder and louder until he's like, yes, there it is.
I don't mind Hayden Christensen. I just think that he was
him.
Dealt a bad set of cards with a fucking production.
Yeah. I like Hayden Christensen. I think he was a great choice for Anakin.
The kid shit. It's not only the kid; it's the lines he had. Like it's a combination.
Yeah, and I think Jake Lloyd maybe wouldn't have been too bad of a choice with some better direction because he does kind of fit some of the things. Like Anakin Skywalker is supposed to be arrogant. He's he's supposed to be just like way too overconfident in his skills and really emotional about his mom. And I think that's a really tough task for a child actor. And I think it also really requires a director who knows how to work with child actors in those things. And that's a really hard combination that you don't get very often until you like watch like Stranger Things or something. And it's like, oh my God, finally, like, yeah, that it can be done.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, so I actually hate kids in movies because of this shit. Like, I just think they're all pretty bad. But when we watch Stranger Things, I was like, oh wow, a show that has kids in it that I'm not constantly thinking, God, I can't wait till this kid gets off the screen. Like, it's, it's like you just watch it and you love it. And I think that is the key. It's like, if there could have been a young Anakin that was one of those kids with the kind of direction and stuff.
Mary Martin is young Anakin.
That's right. Just get an adult actor. I'm a child. Like, I would love to see just like right now Will Wheaton. It's like, I'm 9-year-old Anakin Skywalker.
What I think would be cool, though, if you think about it, Liam Neeson's and Samuel's, like, if they played those characters now, they are older, I think it would actually look better.
That would be my shit.
Yeah. Like, I think they would be more seasoned and with a really great director and stuff. Like, it would just feel less silly pants.
I was thinking Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, Christensen. Yeah,
he could at least play the third movie Anakin, and then they get someone different for the first and second, because he is getting a little bit older.
Yeah,
he might not be able to pull off a teenager so much, but a young adult maybe he could.
Yeah, I think that would totally work.
And they can do CGI stuff now.
Yeah. All right, so who's writing Disney?
Mr. Disney?
Mr. Disney?
Somebody call up Jon Favreau.
I bet no one has suggested that they redo those 3 movies. At all.
I bet it's a matter of time before they do 4 through 6 again.
Oh, I would be heartbroken.
That would be pretty awful, but...
I guess the reason why I'd be like, to me, I can watch those and watch The Mandalorian, and I have no issue with it. Like, currently, it feels the same.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let me take that back. 4 through 6 without the dumb shit that got changed. So yeah, they have been ruined by that fact.
There's some of it I'm okay with, but there are some scenes that. It's just like you get so engrossed in the movie, and then like the one that sticks in my mind
Jabba the Hutt
in
walking.
particular. Oh yeah, that one too. Han Solo, going over Jabba's tail. That's pretty bad. But there's that singer in with the lips, and it's like
that's so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if they could get out the vault, the originals, and just make those the ones and get rid of that shit, but I know that's not what went down.
Some of it's a lot better though because of it,
like sound,
the sound and
explodey bit.
The explosions in space are so much better. So,
the mezzanine.
The what?
Like the little happenings in the background happening.
Yeah.
I think I mispronounced a French word, and I'm not going to attempt it again.
Oh, mise en scène.
Mise en scène.
I've never heard that word.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're expert film buffs.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew that. Mise en scène. He was an artist.
Wait, it's a person?
No,
it's a fancy word for like background stuff.
Oh, okay. I can't wait to read what this word is and see how badly you guys are pronouncing it.
What was your favorite part of Attack of the Clones?
I think my favorite part was Yoda and Dooku battling.
Oh yeah, that is pretty good.
The CGI isn't the best, but at the same time, I feel like that's one of the few scenes. Every once in a while, I see that bad CGI, and I can almost see what I think maybe George Lucas was going for in a weird stylized look for Star Wars. Where he's like, I know it doesn't look. I could almost picture him saying, like, I know it doesn't look real. This is like, it should look kind of weird like this, like a, I don't know, comic book or like a weird artsy take on reality or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to give him some credit there. That's not there, but
I get what you're saying.
But that's one of them. I'm like, there's some stuff. It's like it doesn't look real, but I feel like it almost works.
That probably is my. I mean, I actually can't remember a lot about the movie, so yep, that's my favorite.
You think he was like, CGI ain't gonna get no better? It's all downhill from here.
I think it would have been really funny if they would have attempted some youngifying or oldifying like they can do now. Can you imagine what that would look like?
It looks like a paper plate face.
I'm so young.
I'm just picturing like scenes of Count Dooku, and it's like footage from his movies in like the 60s and the 70s. Like Yoda's like, your time, you're a Sith Lord, and your time has ended. And it cuts to him in like one of the movies where he played Dracula in 1972. He's like,
Funny detail. Does anybody notice that Yoda has a little bit more hair in these movies?
I don't know if I noticed.
I don't know.
He has more hair on his head.
Oh, that's funny.
Before he went bald. I wonder if really young Yoda had like full luscious hair. Like just a big
But
old
baby Yoda or baby whatever
Grogu.
baby whatever species that is, he ain't got no hair. He's a baby. I guess babies don't have hair
He's
either.
still a baby.
That's right. So there's
They just learning.
it's so we'll see when we see adolescent whatever species that is what the hair situation looks like.
Yeah, you got to see them when they're like 250 years old.
Yeah.
That's when they're in
What
their
if-
prime.
What if there's like a brief period where they just look like a regular human? And then they shrink back down?
Oh, I for some reason I was thinking like just their face. Like otherwise they're like just as small and stuff, and then they've got like this like little Nicolas Cage face, just like right there.
Why are robes? I mean, I know we talked about clothing on the last one, but like if you have spaceships and blasters and robots, are robes the most practical clothes to wear when you're battling a lot? It's the same shit like when they, and superheroes, I hate this about superhero movies, I talk about this all the time. I have really long hair. I would never do a battle with my hair all down and curly. Like it would be in a ponytail. Like get it out of my face. It's the same thing. It's like, do you really want to like a lot of robes and a lot of fabric like flipping around when you're like, when you have like a thing that like cuts through thing? I don't know. It just doesn't seem like the smartest thing to wear.
Don't you get hot?
Yeah, don't you get hot? And like half of this shit takes place in a desert.
Like they should just be walking around in their underwear.
Like Animal Crossings.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. I think I'm
And
done
you.
talking about this damn movie.
Good talk.
All right, well,
That was rough.
let's never speak of Attack of the Clones ever again.
Until they redo it.
No,
Okay.
good game, everybody. Thanks for talking about Attack of the Clones. Alex, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Next week we'll be talking about Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Best of the three.
All right, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.